Thank you for watching this Last Mile Profits video.
Are mobile access points headed for a cul-de-sac? Keep watching to find out more.
Last Mile Profits is brought to you by Parcel Pending by Quadient.
Gary, if I said Smarcel to you, what would that tell you?
I'm going to be absolutely honest, not an awful lot. It sounds like one of these ridiculous made-up words like cronut, which is the half croissant, half donut, which was invented in a comedy show in the US and has become a real thing. So I'm hoping this is something from a comedy show that a postal operator is going to bring to make to life.
Well, the funny thing, smar in Polish is grease, so greasy cell, but that's not what it is.
That must take you back to some very unhappy memories, Marek.
All right, changing the subject. Let's get serious here, Gary. Smarcel actually is Deutsche Post DHL's latest, I understand, initiative to create mobile lockers. And I think we'll have a picture up there somewhere. So look here, there, or wherever the picture's going to be.
It just blots us out for the picture, just so you know, Marek.
And it basically it looks like a trailer. Inside, we understand. I don't think we've got pictures of the inside, but I think you get a locker inside. But Gary, it's not only Deutsche Post DHL who've done this. A couple of years back, I remember the Chinese were experimenting with smaller units where you basically had small locker banks that were sort of on wheels and autonomously driving to various places. But before I let you're going to say that I'm not letting you talk, but I just have to make this final point. And the final point is La Poste, of course, have also done this. It's a little bit, I would say, more, shall we say, holistic, because they've created a mobile post office. Gary, now I'm going to let you talk. What's your view?
I get the sense that you're kind of quite pro this thing, aren't you? That you think it's quite a cool idea.
Well, you'd be surprised, actually. Well, you will be surprised.
I think it's niche. I think it's very nice that they're trying to outreach to communities that wouldn't otherwise have access. I think what you've taken something that was not that convenient, and you've made it even less convenient. This is basically stamps for the housebound. You know, you've got to know when the wretched thing is coming. You know, in the little village where I live in the UK, we have a mobile library, and it's there for a couple of hours. Don't ask me what day of the week it is, because whenever it's there, I'm not expecting to see it. So I think if you're really dependent on it and you have no other access, then it probably is a lifeline. But for 99% of people that are still mobile, are able to get to the next village or the town over, where there is something a bit more fixed with a bit more, you know, you've taken something that might have been open 40 hours a week and it wasn't convenient. Now you've made something that's open an hour a week or 2 hours a fortnight. So it's kind of cool. Maybe I'm just one of the few things in the world I'm too young for. I don't know.
Well, actually, Gary, you are going to be really surprised to hear that I'm in complete agreement. Total, complete agreement. The only place where perhaps it could make a little bit of sense is the post office, because there are a lot of functionality that you cannot get elsewhere. But I'm with you that, you know, so you get this mobile post office for a couple of hours per week, but maybe that still has some kind of sense if it's offering services that you cannot offer through a normal locker. But my personal view is either you have a cheap off-grid locker that actually is there all the time and doesn't really cost so much to operate, particularly if it's off-grid, or a PUDO if there's a point in which you can put the PUDO. So, Gary, you're going to be surprised to hear that actually we're aligned.
Well, and
look at that.
Photo,
He's lost for words for a minute.
Well, yeah, I thought we were going to have another scrap, but in the La Poste photo, there's a little dude sat inside the van. So, you know, he's going to be on a nice state-funded pension, 35-hour week, going to be shut for an hour at lunch, you know, to drink some wine or whatever. You know, so it's not going to be a cheap solution. This is not value for. And I work for a French company, so I speak the truth. But it's not going to be good value for money. It's going to be a very, very expensive solution. And I think you look at the price of first-class stamps in the UK, gone up again, 6th time in 3 years, £1.80 a stamp. I mean, a postage stamp is now way more than a litre of petrol. Jeremy Clarkson on Top Gear always used to talk about petrol's cheap, it's cheaper than milk. But blinking well isn't now. But postage stamps are now more expensive than petrol. How can that possibly be the case? And how does that fit with a mass communication method? So I think it's just another step towards the gradual erosion of letter mail.
Gary, I'm really tempted to ask this question because I suddenly thought about myself, but you answer first, if you would. When did you last send a letter with a normal stamp?
Well, you got to remember I live in Portugal, so I sent a letter to the Portuguese consulate in London probably 2 months ago. And what's even more incredible, all right, can you guess, as well as the documentation, what else I put inside that envelope to send it off?
Is it legal to talk about
Oh
that?
yeah, no, absolutely. It's I sent them a postal order.
Oh my word.
I,
Okay.
I I travelled back to my childhood of getting postal orders from aunts and grandparents on birthdays, and I had to go into the post office and buy a postal order.
Oh my word.
It
Well, look,
was
here you have it.
practically Dickensian now.
Well, from my end, I think is about a year ago, and I had to send, and it was a big mistake. I had to send something to Ukraine, and it was a part of a test, and I can't remember, but I think it took something crazy like 20 days.
You know,
But
there's a
no.
war there, right? You know, there's a war that might have been part of it. Not
Well,
just the postal service,
well,
there's
Gary,
other issues.
Gary, Gary, watch our videos because we've had some in the past, and I think we're going to have some in the future from our buddies at Nova Post, where actually their delivery performance, despite this crazy war, and I know because I've been there a couple of weeks ago, is
Yeah,
actually better than it was before. Next day, pretty much everywhere.
no,
So,
it's
we-
astonishing what they're achieving.
so war absolutely it's an issue. But look, I think so that we don't sort of go overboard on this. We're aligned. There could be some use cases, but I believe that our feeling generally, and correct me, Gary, if I've missed this, is it's much better to have, even if it's a fairly simple, small off-grid locker or Pudo, if there's a suitable outlet, which is available ideally if it's a locker 24/7, if it's a Pudo 8 till late, ideally, than having this sort of inconvenient compromise.
No, I
Unless,
agree. And in the next episode, I think we should reminisce about the last time we wrote a check and see if either of us have still got VHS cassette tapes at home and which side of the Betamax VHS divide your family fell when you were a child. Because I think that's when the big decisions were made.
well, look, this was a Back to the Future episode of The Last Mile Profits. Gary, as usual, great talking. We hope everyone enjoyed it. If you did, please click like and subscribe. It helps keep these videos free. But also, if you've got any comments or examples of things that you can see that is a little bit archaic but still relevant today, or maybe shouldn't be, then drop us a line below the video. Gary, as usual, great talking.
Yeah, we read every comment, so please feel free. See you soon.